The Halloween franchise has been a topic of conversation over the last 40 years in terms of its impact on the horror genre. The Halloween films was introduced in 1978, which was written and directed by John Carpenter, starring Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, who portrays a young, innocent teenage girl in Haddonfield, Illinois, who's just living her life until a crazed serial killer, escapes a mental asylum and kills three of her friends and almost kills Laurie Strode. This film in 1978 has since spanned several movies over the last 40 years. Before Michael Myers was introduced, there was never anybody like him. We never had a character like him. What makes Michael Myers scary is he doesn't speak. He doesn't make noise. He doesn't talk. He moves. He's quiet. He doesn't have a motive but to kill. That is his motive, to kill. Michael Myers symbolizes pure evil. And before 1978, we've had horror villains like Billy from the Black Christmas movie represent evil, but not as much as Michael. He doesn't talk. He doesn't speak. He kills. He's scary. We don't see his face. We don't even know what he looks like. And that's all intentional to make him look and seem, to make him be scary. What also makes Michael Myers scary is his eyes. In the original 1978 movie, we don't see Michael Myers' eyes. His eye holes in his mask are dark, and we don't get to see his eyes. We don't see him blink. We don't see him stare. That's what makes him scary. The darkness in in the eyes of his mask, it represents evil. It represents fear. It represents the devil. Michael Myers is fear himself. John Carpenter wanted to show that Michael Myers is not a human. He's not a person with feelings. He's emotionless. He's evil. He has no care in the world for anybody. He does not care about anybody at all. He's just evil. He represents evil. Before the Halloween franchise, there weren't many maxed killer slasher films that were being released in theaters. The only slasher films that were released around this time, before 1978, was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas, as well as the Psycho film. That was it. There weren't many slasher films. There were just many supernatural films. But I feel the Halloween movies kicked off what would become as the slasher films. Because after the Halloween franchise, we saw more movies like Scream that would take place years later. We saw Prom Night that would become more and more popular. We saw Terror Train that would become more prominent. And all these movies that came after it. The Halloween franchise gave Michael Myers a point of view which we don't really see given to serial killers. We get to see what he sees from the opening scene in Halloween 1 when Michael Myers is in front of his home, stalking his sister and her boyfriend, making out. We also see Michael Myers watching his sister brushing her hair, and then we see him stabbing her repeatedly over and over again until she's dead. This was great directing, I feel, on John Carpenter's part, because we never really got to see things like that before the Halloween movie came out. And I feel like we get to see through his eyes what is going on at that very moment in time, instead of just going through the other characters' point of view. The Halloween franchise forever transformed the horror genre by redefining what audiences found frightening. John Carpenter's 1978 original film created a new blueprint for horror, introducing the masked, emotionless killer, the final girl archetype, and the invasion of safety which terrorizes towns and audiences alike. This film's success proved that low-budget horror could achieve massive cultural and commercial impact, sparking a wave of slasher films throughout the 80s and re-sparking them in the 90s and 2000s. And even currently, I've seen a lot of films who I feel use that type of suspense from the Halloween movies and put it in their movies, like Scream, for example. I think the original creator, Kevin Williamson, said one of his inspirations for Scream was the Halloween franchise. And I just feel like Halloween is a franchise that is timeless. It'll survive forever. It'll always be popular. People will always look back on it and always remember the first time they watched that film. If you want to hear more from me, follow me on Instagram on @itsDerekBarnett and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Derek Barnett 7539.